Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to have Sherry Sims, the founder and CEO of Black Career Women's Network, also known as BCWN. This is a national organization dedicated to supporting and empowering Black women in their professional journeys. With over 20 years of experience in human resources and career development, Sherry created BCWN to provide mentorship, networking, and resources to help Black women navigate and thrive in the workplace. Sherry, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. I always like to start from the beginning. So take us back to before you started your company, BCWN. Take us back to before you started it. What was the motivation behind starting the company, and what problems were you looking to solve in the market?
My story is a little bit more of a divine type of process. I think initially when I started the organization, it was about connecting with other women simply because I wanted to network and broaden my network and get to know other women and see if they were experiencing some of the same things that I could have been experiencing at the same time, like looking for a mentor and couldn't find one, and just expanding my network. And that's really how it started. But initially in 2008, I got looked over for a promotion. So I was looking for a mentor for the very first time and couldn't find anyone. I was working late one night. I was happened to be scrolling on LinkedIn, and they said, create a group. And I created a group. And then when it came to starting the name, I didn't know what to name it. And so I named it Black Career Women's Network, was very excited about the group, was hoping that a lot of Black women would join the group. The whole goal was just to talk to other women and just connect and hopefully find a mentor. No one joined the group, Ammar. It was like crickets. No one joined. So I ignored the group. 2 years later, I relocated to another city and decided I was ready to change careers, made a career change into career coaching. Women started contacting me, specifically Black women, asking for career advice, which I didn't think I was positioning myself like that. I have a background in HR, 20 something years.
Yeah.
At that point, as I realized that there were other women who experienced some of the same challenges I had experienced throughout my career, I decided to start the business. And then something in the head said, check that old LinkedIn group you had from 2 years ago. I checked it, and there were 247 women waiting to join the group after I became a career coach, changing from careers from HR to career coaching. And I decided to start a business, and I named it that. So it was named BCWN before I even started the business 2 years before.
That's beautiful. I love that so much. Fast forward to today. For the listeners that know nothing about your business, you gave us some more context, which I appreciate. But help us understand for BCWN, how do people actually work with you? What are the different offers and services that you provide? And then who's your ideal customer? Black women, pretty simple, but is there a certain segment, anything like that? Walk me through those
Yeah,
things.
sure. What we offer is career coaching, mentoring, professional development workshops, or group coaching. And we also have an annual event where we bring together women in a mentor collective so they can actually receive advice annually once a year. So
Nice.
anything that we do is under the umbrella of professional development for Black women. And our audience, typically the women are ages 24 to 56, entry level to mid career, pretty much, or
Got
looking
it.
for a career transition.
Very cool. Career coaching, the workshops, the annual event, the group coaching.
Hmm.
Break us down a little bit for you. Let's say I'm listening to this and I'm like, Sherry, I would love to work with you. What does a typical client engagement look like in terms of the call frequency, what access do they have, all that sort of stuff?
Yes. So when someone comes to us, they're coming to us typically for two to three different reasons: coaching, mentoring, or they're looking for some sort of promotion within there, or they may have a situation they need to work through.
Got
So
it.
when they come to us, we categorize that by we have what we call the BCWN way, which is 4 different categories we coach under: self-awareness, career management, workplace mastery, and then really understanding what it means to navigate the workplace. And so those are the 4 pillars that we work with them on. We have them take assessments to assess where they are in those specific areas. To maybe there's more focus on your self-awareness, where maybe you just need to learn how to navigate the workplace politics. And
Mm,
once we assess where you are, then we will tailor the coaching to that specific need.
interesting. Okay, and then that's what you focus your coaching sessions off of, based off of basically what their weak points are
What
and
their
what.
Yeah, what their points are, right? Because they may be strong in one area, but they could be challenged in another that could keep them from moving forward in their careers. We want to focus on what's holding them back or what could be their barriers and working through those barriers for success.
Got it. And is it like one-on-one coaching where maybe there's weekly calls for X amount of months? Give me the specifics around that.
Yes, there's 2 options. You can come in for like a 1 day intensive if you need to, for someone who maybe do not want to commit to long-term coaching, or you may come in for, we do have a 6 week, excuse me, we do have a 12-week program called Career Smarts 360. This is where we work with you for 12 weeks through our group coaching sessions. The whole goal was to help you to learn how to make smarter career decisions that can propel
Right.
your career forward. But then we're also working on specifically, if you're doing one-on-one coaching, then we can again go back and tailor that package. You may be here for 3 sessions, 6 sessions, and you're done, depending on the situation. But what I love about our group coaching is that it really gives us an opportunity to take a deeper dive into not just what's happening now, but how can we position you and equip you with what you need for the long term goal of your career.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I like the group coaching for sure because from a business perspective, there's only so many hours in the day, and you can help more people if you offer group coaching, which is huge. So there's the 1 day intensive, and is you said come in. Are they like coming into an office somewhere or
We serve both, right? Because we're located in Cincinnati, but we serve our local community, but we also serve women all over the US.
cool?
So our US based women will do the virtual coaching. If you're local, then we'll gather in person to have those sessions.
Awesome. Must be a lot of fun.
They are. The in persons are great. I love the virtual too, though, because I still get to see them because we have Zoom, right?
Yes, exactly. That was the nice thing about COVID. The only blessing that came out of it, in my opinion, is
Agreed.
now we're a digital world or more. Now, the professional development workshops, I'm curious, is that still for individuals or is that for organizations where maybe
It's for both. It's for both. Yeah, I do work with organizations. I'll partner with them to support their women that they're looking for professional development for. I work locally with like our regional chambers and some of our other programs that are sponsored by some of our high profile companies in the area and support them in group coaching, facilitating classes as well on specific topics from executive presence to self-awareness, and again back to workplace mastery, helping them to understand how to navigate workplace culture and also work on communication styles as well.
awesome,
Mhm.
awesome, that's amazing. Now, let's shift a little bit to the back end of the business. So for you, when it comes to lead generation and acquiring more customers, walk me through that process and what you have put in place for that.
Yeah, for our lead generation, our bread and butter is LinkedIn. This is where it's at for us. We What we do is we will send out a Monday motivator to kick things off.
Okay,
And then a lot of times we get a lot of responses from that in terms of inquiries and curious about what we do. Every other Tuesday, as a lead generator, we do a live LinkedIn live called Career Tip Tuesday. And at
cool.
the end, and it's the 30 minutes live where we offer up career tips that women can go back and apply in real time. At the end of that, we will typically offer them a freebie so we can get them on our email list. And then we invite them to download our mobile app and
Okay.
be a part of our community that way. And we'll use it as another lead in to convert them over from a free member over to a paid member for our services.
Okay, very cool. So LinkedIn sounds like it's got the 90% of the lead gen because you've got the Monday and then the Tuesday one, and then that gets funneled over to the email list, which is very cool. Do you do anything else on LinkedIn? So any like specific outreach or anything like that?
Yeah, I will. I have this. I'm sharing my trade secrets with you now. One thing that I do, and I'll just go ahead and share it. One of the things that I do is I watch my timeline for Black women who've been promoted or if they have just started a new job. You know how they use the feature with LinkedIn to announce their new position or promotion. And what I would do is reach out to them and congratulate them and then offer them an opportunity to join as a member into our community. And I will share with them like a 90-day, like a startup, what to do in your first 90 days to get you set up as a Black female in the workplace. And I use it as a lead generation to get them to become a member to help support them in their new roles.
Okay, very cool. I
And
appreciate
they don't know me from Adam, and I just send them an invite.
Yeah. It's personalized. It's a nice touch. You're saying congratulations. And yeah, I appreciate you sharing that for sure. Something we talk about often on this podcast is the idea of and the importance really of building a predictable lead generation machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something where it's like a faucet where you can turn on and off that really allows businesses to explode and scale. And different companies have different ways of doing that, depending on their audience, depending on who they want to serve, also depending on how big they want to get as well.
Yeah, true.
So for you, how have you been thinking about approaching predictability when it comes to lead gen?
I think that's something we have just started to have the conversations about in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 months about what that looks like.
Mm,
But what we've decided to do was what is the one thing that could bring the women to us where we can help them to establish pathways to success and give them a structured way to do that. And we've decided to do that specifically through our web-based mobile app and to start to craft this way where we're giving them step by step on how they can create a success path and look forward to not only the future, but then equipping them with how to overcome those roadblocks. And so offering up something a little bit more structured, coaching's great, but sometimes being able to see a true path and how they can use that on their own to self-direct is also, it gives them empowerment in a way that they control how their destiny comes about. So that's what we've been thinking about here and really starting to restructure our platform in that way.
and mainly the mobile app.
Our web-based, yeah. So what we're taking is it's part of it is starting with coaching, having someone who can support you along the way, but then allowing you to have more ownership to guide that to drive the to really just drive the bus on your own.
Yeah.
So that's for us, and that comes from our years of, I would say, you know, how we have seen the trend of women and how they navigate their careers, throwing a dart at the wall, hoping it lands where they're hoping it will land, and teaching them to be more strategic through that process and not
Mm,
necessarily hold their hand, but give them the tools that they can always go back to and use those over and over again.
got it. Got it. Now, once a lead does come in, what are the steps in the sales process for them to actually become a client, like a coaching client, maybe in the group coaching or the one-on-ones?
Intake, intake conversation, which is about 30 minutes, allows us an opportunity to learn who they are, see what kind of energy level they have, what is gauge their commitment level,
Yeah.
give them a clear indication of what they can expect.
Yeah.
If they are ready for that next step, then the next step is to take some assessments so we
Yep.
can see where they are from standpoint of the 4 pillars that I
Yep.
talked about earlier. Once we see where
And
those,
I'm so sorry to cut you
oh
off.
no, you're fine.
I just want the listeners to get a recap. You said self-awareness,
Self-awareness.
self-awareness, career management,
Mhm.
workplace mastery, and then there's a fourth one that I missed.
Oh, the fourth one. Yes, I don't know why I always remember the fourth one. So yeah, career management, workplace mastery, self-awareness, and overall just the professional development. And with the professional development is ongoing, which
Got it.
means that you are in a constant state of continuous development, which we
And
always should be thinking that way.
100%. Everybody should be a lifelong learner forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the best way to move through life, in my opinion. So, sales process, they have the intake form, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have the conversation, and then you assess them based off of those four things.
the 4 pillars, we come back with a recommendation of this is where we feel like you are, whether you're in stage 1, 2, or 3, which is beginning in terms of whether, and it's simplistic in a way from a career development perspective. It's you're either coming in entry, mid, or you're executive. But you may be a mid-career person who wants to be an executive, but you may not have the tools to be that. So it helps us to show you what it means to be a true executive. So we say, okay, yeah, you're mid-career, but you're ready for next level, but do you really understand what that takes? And so we categorize you on there, and then we create that plan based on where we assess them entry, mid-career, or executive.
Got it.
Once we do that, it's here's where you land, and then here's the program that will put you in.
Got it. The one that makes the most sense for them based on where they're at. Do you run the sales?
I run the sales. Yes, I do.
Of course you do. Do you enjoy it?
Do enjoy it. It took a while though. I will say it took me a while to get comfortable with that process. And I tried business development officers and really helping to explain how we do it. It just wasn't working for me. Yeah. And I have the kind of personality, I'm like, I'll take the bull by the horns and do it myself. Now, one day I may find someone I think may be a great fit for it, but it's working for now. And I have gotten comfortable with the process, and so I enjoy it.
Awesome. I love that. And do you find that sometimes it might take away from other activities, or you're like, you know what, this is something I got to do?
No, I feel like it's something I have to do. And what I have found also too is that a lot of the women, they either say, hey, I've been following you for 5 years and now I'm finally ready to really do something about my career. Or someone could say, hey, I just saw you on LinkedIn Live and that was such a great session. I want to work with you. So what I have also found is that when the lead generation, they're looking to work with me, which may not be good for the business long term, because if I decide to move away from it, I do need them to be able to work with other people, but it's working for now.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a great point that you bring up in terms of how do you build it in a way where they are okay working with other coaches, but they want to work with the brand and it's not tied to one individual person. That's a big thing when it comes to building like a coaching consulting company, especially one that you can exit if that's an aspiration. Maybe that ties into my next question. When you think about your vision and where you want to take the company, let's say over the next 12 months to start, then maybe we can go further. What are your top priorities? Are there any revenue targets, performance targets you're after? What does that look like?
Yeah, I would say that top priority, it definitely is to continue to grow the coaching business, to continue with our partnerships with organizations, and to also to continue to make it a household name. What I mean by that is that we're continuing to reach, every what we call every Black career woman that's out there. And we have various women who are in our organization. So it's not just Black women. We do have Hispanic women of color who are also in our community, but to continue to do that. My thing is that professional development will never go away. Women will always need that growth and development. So for me, although this is legacy work for me overall, I do want to see the organization expand to where we have other women who are coming in and coaching and supporting and empowering the women. But in order for me to do that, they do have to have the FaceTime, because our women love to see. They're like, I don't know who that is. I'm not talking to her. So we do have to position them for the visibility to gain that trust with our clients.
What do you feel like is the biggest challenge you're facing right now to scaling this up even further?
I do, out of transparency, my business I'm not a nonprofit. So of course we make our money based on our revenue streams that we have in place. And although our organization is designed to support women and we do partner with organizations, we've never been DEI driven mission. I think because we are a minority based, we target and support Black women, that falls under that umbrella. So I think the DEI climate as it is now has impacted us in a way in terms of our partnerships that we've been able to achieve. So that's put a dent in the projections that we had for this year. But we're staying steadfast and true to the mission of what we do and the purpose of that. And then just continue to partner with companies that do want to partner with us, who still believe in those missions of supporting minority women in the workplace. And then just hopefully we can just, work through this challenging time and stay steadfast with the goals we put in place.
Yeah.
It's been an adjustment for a while. It's been an adjustment, but we're working through it.
For sure. Is it mainly you've been mainly feeling it in 2025, or were you also feeling it maybe the last couple of months of last year leading up to the election and whatnot?
Started feeling it in November of last year.
Got it.
Yeah. Our projections from 2023 and then the projection we have from 2024, we saw a huge, significant
Mm,
difference. So I knew then that we were trending in that direction, that we
yeah.
need to be clear about how we were going to look. We had to reevaluate our numbers for this year because I felt like that was a big deal in November.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of how it's actually felt, like, is it less leads? What does that look like?
It's less company leads, right?
Okay.
Last year we would average maybe 3 to 4 initial discovery call with
Yep.
employers, and that's half, if not less, this year. So it definitely has been a trend. However, that may be on a downtrend. However, are the women that has increased. And I
Cool.
think that's all because of the climate, women, individuals. If you notice, there was an article that was just released last week about how 160,000 women of color had lost their jobs.
Yeah.
And so that has impacted them, but it's good for us because we're supporting them in their
Mm,
development and their search.
sure.
Yeah.
What's one tip you would give to women of color that are looking for some sort of career change? They don't know what the next step is, but they feel like they're stuck in limbo. They're not truly doing what they want to be doing. They want to be doing something else, but they feel stuck. What's one tip you could give them to help them unlock that?
Yeah, I would say it would be take a skills inventory, sit down and think about where you are, where you've been, where you are now, and where you want to go, and do an inventory of the skills that you have. And then what interests you? There
Mm,
could be something that you are maybe always had a desire to do, but was afraid to. So just first assess where you are now, where you want to go, and then do a skills inventory list. And what I mean by that is what are you good at? What are you not so good at? And then what if you had any type of job you could do right now, what would be that dream job? What
yeah,
would be that job? And then what would it take to get that job?
yeah. I like that. What's one tip you would give to founders that are starting off in 2025?
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yep. Expand on that slightly.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we come out the gate very aggressive and we want to scale really quickly,
Yep.
but we may not be prepared for the growth. And so being very clear and strategic on what that looks like and preparing for that. I do believe I had a friend of mine tell me years ago, he said, back in my day, very much older gentleman, he said, we would scale. He said, we wouldn't define success till 10 years in with the business. That was the average, was 10 years before you would actually see some true traction and success. I adopted that. Not that I wanted to wait 10 years to find success, but I knew that I wanted to be around past 10 years.
Yeah.
I was very realistic in what I wanted to accomplish in the first 10 years. And really, I would say I made the goals probably a little bit lower than that, just because I wanted to make sure that what we were building was sustainable for the long term. Yeah. And I was just being practical. And
Yeah.
sometimes people are not being realistic about it because they want to be rock stars in 2 years and it takes longer than that.
Yeah. Setting up a good foundation for
Yep,
sure.
absolutely.
I love that. What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
They can reach out to me through social network, Instagram or on Threads. I love Threads, is my favorite. And
Cool.
Hello Sherry Sims is my handle. But you also can reach me at hello@bcwnetwork.com or on our website, bcwnetwork.com as well.
Perfect. Sure. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And if you're looking to scale your business and really enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.